All right. Good morning, ladies. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing well this morning. Today we're talking about why balancing your blood sugar is so important. Like whether you're diabetic or not diabetic, it's still very important to keep your blood sugar balanced most of the time. And that should be everyone's goal. And we're going to talk about why today. So, this is a really good one if you are diabetic, if you're pre-diabetic, if diabetes runs in your family, or even if it doesn't, even if yeah, diabetes or insulin resistance or anything like that, a lot of your family members don't have it, you still have a chance of getting it. And I'm going to tell you today, we're going to talk about how you can prevent this from happening because really, type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, things like that, like blood sugar issues is really a lifestyle thing and it's not a genetics thing. So, we're going to talk about that today and why it's so important to balance blood sugar. So, I hope you are as excited as I am um, because this is really like my passion. This is my passion to help others understand blood sugar, understand their body and how it works, and really um, take charge of their health, take charge of your health. So, because if you have the knowledge, if you know how your body works and you understand how it works and how blood sugar works, then you can prevent these issues, right? So, let's get into it today. Um, and I'm just curious, you guys, why do you think it's important to balance your blood sugar? Like why is it important for you, or why do you think it's important, or what have you been told the reason is why we should um focus on balancing our blood sugar? Let me know in the comments. And while you're thinking on that, just going to talk a little bit about me. I'll tell you that before I had to start testing my blood sugar, I didn't, I didn't, I didn't realize how important it was. I knew that it was important. Like I went to school, I became a nutritionist, I worked in the medical field. And I did understand that blood sugar was important. But what I learned is it was only important if you were diabetic or had it in your family. I didn't learn in school that actually it's important for everyone. Um, I'd never learned that until I got out of school and I had blood sugar issues and I had to start learning about it for myself because it actually does not run in my family. My family, I think I was the first person in my family to have diabetes, and I was 34. So it did not run in my family. My grandparents didn't have it. My parents, my aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, no one had it before me that I know of. So isn't that interesting? And I was always the one that cared about nutrition and fitness, and it was really, I went to school to be a nutritionist, and I was the one that ended up. I was trying to follow the food guide pyramid and the way that they were telling me to eat, through school, and I was trying to follow that, and it left me with cravings and just more health issues and more food issues. Really, it did. It left me with more food issues than I had before. And so my whole thing is, what I'm trying to explain. I got off there a little bit, like I do, but I just didn't realize how important blood sugar was until I had to start paying attention to my own blood sugar. That was my point. Um, and so I had gestational diabetes and I had to start testing my blood sugar and that's when I realized how foods affected my blood sugar. Things that I thought were healthy for my blood sugar, or not necessarily my blood sugar because I didn't pay that much attention to it back then. Um, but things that I just thought were good for me, that I was told was good for me, going through school, learning about nutrition, things that you would hear on TV, like about, oh, if you eat this, this is a great healthy breakfast, or what, whatever. And I would follow those rules, and it wasn't working for me. It was making me diabetic. It was making my blood sugar go on a roller coaster all day. So, I just never realized that before that point, before I had to start paying attention to my blood sugar and trying to balance it, that um, how important it was. So, you guys let me know in the comments why it's important for you, or why you think it's important, or why you've heard it's important. I would like to know what your answer is. So, did you know that having high blood sugar for months and years can lead to insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, kidney disease, and even like weight gain? And that's just to name a few things. But when you research, consistently high blood sugar, or having high blood sugar, like what the causes are, you will get these answers. It will cause insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, kidney disease, weight gain. And there's a lot more, but these are like the main, like big ones, like the most common things that happen when you have high blood sugar consistently, like every day, all the time. And then a lot of us don't even realize that we have high blood sugar. And then even when we're diabetic, our doctor tells us, or our provider tells us, well, you've got to keep your blood sugar within a certain range, and it needs to be like this. But to avoid or to reverse diabetes, your blood sugar needs to stay down here and go like this. Not But they're saying, oh, it needs to stay up and go like this. Does that make sense, you guys? So that's keeping you diabetic when your blood sugar is constantly here, but going like this. You're keeping it up all day. And yes, it's consistent. It's within maybe 30 to 50 points. It's consistent because you're eating and snacking all day. Yes. But you're staying diabetic that way too, or you're creating diabetes that way. If you keep it down here and it goes like this, you're reversing and preventing diabetes and insulin resistance and all these other things that I named. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. That is really the difference between like what the doctors and providers tell you, like the healthcare system tells you, and the difference between them and the difference between someone like me, who's like focuses on holistic health and preventing disease and reversing disease, so you don't have to take medication to balance your blood sugar and manage these conditions. Holistic means you're healing it instead of covering it up. So that's really the main difference between us. And there's really no good or bad or right or wrong. It's just really it's your choice. It's your choice in how you choose to go about these diseases and these symptoms that you have. I'm not like bashing you if you don't want to do it holistically at all. Like, that is your choice. We all have a choice. But what I'm saying is the difference in holistic health, the way that I teach it, is I'm helping you heal your conditions and reverse them, so you don't have to take medicine. And then if you want to go the um, The other route through the healthcare system, that's where you're just taking medicine to control your issues, but not really heal them. So I hope that makes sense, you guys. Um, but uh, so so keeping your blood sugar high all the time consistently is going to cause all these issues I just talked about. And this is why, even if you don't have diabetes, you should keep an eye on your blood sugar and take steps to keep it in a normal range. And we're going to talk about how to do that. Okay. Um, so let's talk about. I've got 4 tips for you today, and there's more than this. There's more tips, but I'm trying to keep these lives shorter, so I can always do a part 2 with more tips. If you're interested in that, just let me know. um, but I'm going to talk about 4 of the benefits that are keeping your blood sugar balanced. 4 of the benefits, if you work on keeping your blood sugar balanced, these are 4 of the benefits, but there's so many more. Oh, you guys say hi if you're joining me. I think I forgot to say that. Just say hi if you're joining me. Um, and if you're watching the replay, you can also say hi and answer the questions and everything that I ask you, because I do look at the comments. So, all right. So um, let's get to the first benefit of keeping your blood sugar balanced. And we talked about this a little bit a few minutes ago, but it prevents you from getting conditions like insulin resistance, prediabetes, and type 2 diabetes. That is one of the main reasons we want to keep our blood sugar balanced and in down here, like, you know, in a normal range. We want to keep our blood sugar down here, not up here all the time, because that's not going to prevent diabetes. That's going to cause us to develop diabetes and have other issues that when you have diabetes, then you can start having heart issues. You can start having um, kidney issues and other issues related to blood sugar. Okay, let's see. Hello, this is my first time watching live video, and good. Good. I'm so glad. Yeah, I'm using StreamYard, and so I can't see what your name is, but I can go back and look later and see who left this comment. But welcome. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So hopefully you're interested in learning about blood sugar and diabetes. All right, so keeping your blood sugar balanced helps with prevents issues like insulin resistance, prediabetes, and type 2 diabetes. So having big swings in your blood sugar, Janet from, oh, okay. Hey, Janet. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. All right. So having big swings in your blood sugar on a daily basis is what makes you more susceptible to developing these conditions, like we talked about before. So when you have a big range in your glucose, it makes your body have to produce more insulin, right? So if you start down here and your blood sugar is at 80 or something like that, and then you eat a big bowl of oatmeal, some blueberries, and some peanut butter, and it makes it go to 200. And then after an hour, it goes back down, and you feel hungry again because it's back, down under 100, and it was at 200, and then you eat something and it goes back up. That's what we want to avoid, because that is going to cause insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. So that's what we want to avoid. We want to eat in a way that keeps our blood sugar like this. So, um, So, it makes your body have to produce more insulin when you have these big swings in your blood sugar, right? And after so long of your body having to keep up with your insulin demands, it eventually gives up and you become insulin resistant. So that's the first step to becoming diabetic is insulin resistance. So if you've ever been told that you are insulin resistant, that means your body is on its way to type 2 diabetes if you don't do something about it. You're not destined for type 2 diabetes. You just have to start doing something about it if you're told that. So insulin resistance is what leads to prediabetes and eventually type 2 diabetes. So what can you do to prevent this from happening? Really, um, four things have been proven to help balance blood sugar, and those things are nutrition, being active, good sleep, and stress management. Those are the four things when you are insulin resistant, or if you want to prevent insulin resistance, those are the four things that you need to focus on. That's really what's been proven to balance blood sugar. And I know most of you think it's all about the food, and it is. It has a lot to do with what you're eating, but not everything to do with what you're eating. So you could have a perfect diet and your blood sugar still be um, unbalanced or too high. And that's when you have to start looking at these other three areas, how active you are, good sleep, stress management. Um, and that's why I am always talking about these four areas. I'm always trying to teach you guys about how you can manage your stress, how you can get better sleep, how you can work in activity into your day, how you can make it easy to fit in good nutrition and things like that, because these are the things that matter when you are trying to prevent diabetes or reverse it. So, that's why I'm always talking about it. So making sure you're eating at least 80% whole foods every week. I'm big on the 80/20 because I don't believe we can be perfect. I don't believe we can be 100% all the time. That's unrealistic. But we can strive for 80%, right? We can strive to eat at least 80% whole foods. And I get clients that are barely eating any whole foods. Their diet is mostly, junk food and fast food, and that's okay. We start where we start, and we just work on one little habit at a time, and we build up, right? We don't try to do everything at one time. We work on one thing at a time, and they'll get to 50/50, and then they'll get to 70/30, and then they'll get to 80/20, um and that's fine. That's good. And um I never push people to do 100% um, healthy all the time, because it's just, now if you want to do it for a few weeks or a month or whatever, that's fine. But I just really believe, and for me, I've found this to be true. If I do 100% whole foods and don't ever have any treats or anything like that, that doesn't work for me. It's too unrealistic, and it caused me to become a binge eater because I felt so deprived for so long. So I don't ever push anyone to do that, because I know that that is unrealistic. And you can have a healthy lifestyle and prevent diabetes and lose weight without being 100% perfect. So don't believe that if you hear that. So let's talk more about the 80/20, 80% whole foods in a week. This means that at least 17 of your meals need to be whole foods, right? So a lot of my meals are a meat and a vegetable. That's usually what my 17 meals look like: meat and vegetable. And then, so uh, if you're eating 3 meals a day, it's 21 meals a week. So that's 17 meals that you choose that are like whole food meals. Um, so that leaves about 4 meals that you can splurge on and have some treats. Like that's where I'll work in dessert or, some kind of, if I want pasta, like spaghetti or lasagna or some bread or something like that, that's where I'll work that more processed food into that's my 20%. Okay, you're type 2 diabetic. Okay, good. This is really going to help you. This is going to help a lot. Um, So that is what I mean by 80% whole foods. Hopefully that makes sense. And then staying active. We talked about this in the beginning. Staying active is another way we can regulate blood sugar and prevent insulin resistance. And you don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to work out for an hour a day. Nothing like that, because what I've learned is if you strive for that and you really don't have time to do that, um, you're not going to keep up with it. You're not going to stay consistent with that. So, how much activity can you do in your day and stay consistent with? What is realistic for your lifestyle with going to work? You have kids you have to take care of. You have to get them to their practices and all these things that they have to do, right? What is realistic? How can you fit in activity, movement through your day that's realistic that you can stay consistent with? Because if you join a gym and you don't have time to go except for once a week, then is that really realistic? No. But can you get up if you work, at a desk and you sit a lot? Can you get up every hour or two and go walk around the room or go walk the stairs or, go outside or just anything? Can you do squats? Can you find little ways and small amounts of time to work in movement throughout your day? Because that's going to be better if you can stay consistent with that than you join in a gym and only get to go once a week, right? So how can you stay active daily? What is realistic for you? So that's what I want you to think about when you think about adding in activity. Hey, Precious. How are you? Thanks for joining. Oh, rice and beans. Okay. Rice and beans, do they count as a whole food? Good question. So, they are, except rice. It depends on what kind of rice, because the white rice has been stripped. It's been stripped of its nutrition. So you're literally just eating white rice is the equivalent of just eating a piece of cake with a bunch of sugar in it. So if you're going to eat rice, it needs to have some nutrition in it, like, the brown rice or the whole grain rice. So it has some fiber and some protein and some minerals and nutrients in it. Hopefully that makes sense. So there's different kinds of rice, so you just have to look. And you don't want a bunch of rice. You don't want rice that is has a bunch of ingredients. You just want to see on the ingredients like whole grain brown rice and maybe some salt. But you don't want an ingredient list, because then that's considered a processed food. So you want things that are like recognizable, like long grain brown rice, or couscous or whatever kind of grain you want. Jasmine rice is better. Now, the only thing is, if you're diabetic, you got to watch your carbs, because you need to use your blood sugar monitor to your advantage and test it. Say, I'm going to have some jasmine rice, but I'm going to test my blood sugar before I eat it, and I'm going to test it after I get done eating it, like 30 minutes after, and see what that level is. Did it go up 20 points? Did it go up 50 points? Look and see. And then you can kind of use that as data to know, okay, I can't have a half a cup of jasmine rice because that put my blood sugar up too high. It raised me 60 points or something. But I can have a fourth of a cup because it only raised me 20, 20 points. So just use your blood sugar monitor to your advantage when you're eating foods like that. Yeah, that's how it works, precious. That you use your blood sugar use your blood sugar monitor as data. Keep up with that. Test it. And you won't have to do this forever once you know how foods affect you. Like I know oatmeal and bananas affect me. So I don't eat them very often because it's not worth it to me to spike my blood sugar that high. I have it occasionally, maybe on vacation, maybe once every few months or so if I, am craving it or wanting, have a taste for it. But that's not something that I work into my week because it's just not that, it's not worth it for me to spike my blood sugar to eat that, right? Does that make sense? So use your blood sugar monitor as data. Write it down if you don't remember it. A lot of them, they have apps and things. Mine is very basic. I'm very basic. I'm not a big technical person. So um I like writing it down or keeping it in my phone and stuff like on my notes or something. That's what I like to do. I don't want to have to figure out an app to test my blood sugar, but it's different for everyone. If that's what you like to do, then do that. But just use your blood sugar monitor as data. And if you love jasmine rice or you love white rice or whatever kind of rice it is that you want to eat, test it and see, okay, well, I've been eating a half a cup, but I can't, my blood sugar is going up too much. So let me go down to a fourth a cup and see how it does, you know? And if it still spikes you a lot, then that's something that, okay, I'm not gonna have that weekly, but I'll have that occasionally as something, like maybe once a month or so if you really enjoy it. That's how I kind of am with pasta. It's not something that I just want to have every week, but it is something I do want to have occasionally. So I'll say, well, I'll have it like once a month. If we go out to a restaurant or something like that, I might have some pasta, but it's not something that I have every week because it's just not worth it to me to spike my blood sugar that much. So, I hope that makes sense. Okay. Staying active. So, a lot of times, if you are not exercising at all, one thing I suggest is just working activity into your day while you're making coffee, while you're waiting on your coffee. Do some squats while you're like when I'm filling up my water bottles. I'm like going shuffling back and forth. You know, I'm always trying to do movement and work movement into my day whenever I can. If I'm waiting on one of the kids to do something, I might do some squats or some lunges or some push-ups or anything like that just to work movement into my day. So you don't have to go to the gym and work out for an hour. Just see how you can work movement into your day. And especially if you work in an office or you sit a lot, just make it a point to get up every hour or two and walk around. Do 10 laps around the room or go walk the stairs. I used to do that at the hospital all the time. Um, when I worked in nutrition at a hospital, I would go like every so often. I'd be like, oh, it's time for me to get up because I'd be in an office just sitting most of the day. So I would go walk the stairs at work. I would go up and down the stairs 10 or 15 times and work movement into my day. When it was a beautiful day outside, I would after I ate lunch, I would go walk around the parking lot a few times just to get some movement in. So little things like that, and still to this day, I always try to park farther away. I know that's one a lot of us have heard. Park farther away when you're going to the store or, wherever you're parking, just park farther away. I try to park as far away as I can, especially on a nice day when it's not raining. When it's raining, that's a little different. But when it's a nice day, or even if it's if it's cold, I'll still do it. I'll just park far away and I will walk. And that helps you get your steps in and helps you get movement in. Your body loves that. It craves it. And so and the other thing that benefits you, like when you're active and you find ways of getting activity in and your body is moving, guess what? That's going to help you with sleep. So if you have trouble sleeping at night, um, a lot of the times it's because we sit all day and we're not active enough and our body doesn't want to go to sleep because we haven't moved enough. So if you work in activity into your day, that's going to help you sleep better at night because your body is going to be like, oh, she moves so much. I'm exhausted. Let me, go to sleep. And it really does work. So keep that in mind. And you want to get 7 to 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep consistently. So you want to make it a point to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep consistently. And you don't want to be waking up at night because it takes a while to get back to sleep and that interrupts your sleep cycle. And then you feel like you didn't sleep, even though you were laying in bed for 8 hours. If you woke up 1, 2, 3 times, you've interrupted your sleep cycle and it feels like you did not get 8 hours because you didn't. So try that. And if you need more tips on how to get better sleep, I've got a lot of YouTube videos that I do, and I've done a few on sleep. So you can just go to Jennifer Dunn, and then you'll find my YouTube channel. It's like Jennifer Dunn Nutriholic Health Coaching, something like that. I think it's just under my name now, but it may still say Nutriholic because that's the name of my health coaching business. Anyway, you can learn more about how to get more sleep and my tips on that on my YouTube channel. And then stress. Stress is the other thing. So that has a major impact on our blood sugar because I've had people that I worked with that they were eating perfectly. They were exercising, like their diet was perfect. They were exercising, but guess what? Their stress was high. And so they were not losing weight. Their blood sugar was high all the time. And a lot of times our stress can make our blood sugar go higher than what we eat. Stress has a major effect on blood sugar. And I know that we can't get rid of stress. I say that all the time. We live in a stressful world. We can't just eliminate all stress, right? We can't like quit our job and, get rid of everything that's stressful in our life. But we can do things to manage our stress. We can learn tips. We can learn strategies to manage our stress so our body can better deal with it instead of keeping it all inside and getting tense and like being all stressed out all the time. We don't want that. We want to be relaxed. We want to learn ways to deal with our stress and manage it better, right? So and the key to that is doing that on a consistent basis. We don't want to just do it once a month. We want to do it consistently, like at least a few times a week. And what I like, I do a combination of things. I'll do yoga couple times a week. I do meditation a few times a week, and I walk in nature almost every day, unless the weather's bad. I walk in nature almost every day. Like I take my dog for a walk, and that is a form of meditation. It's a form of stress relief if you enjoy it. If that's not something you enjoy, you don't have to do that. You can do something else. But anything that relaxes you and relieves stress is a form of meditation and stress relief. So sometimes I'll just take a hot shower and I'll listen to like a really relaxing like jazz station on YouTube, and that just it really does relieve my stress. It puts me in a calm mood, and I'm just really relaxed and ready to go to bed. So you can try that too. And so those four things are what is going to help you uh, reverse or prevent insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, prediabetes. Those four things. I know I talked a while about those. I've got three more benefits. Okay. So the second benefit of balancing your blood sugar is hormone balance. So when your blood sugar is balanced and in a healthy range, your hormones regulate. And so when your blood sugar is off and it's up and down and on a roller coaster all day, your hormones become unbalanced, and that's when you start getting health issues, when your hormones get out of balance for too long, um, so if your blood sugar is out of whack, it can have a drastic effect on your endocrine system, which produces hormones. Who knew that? Who knew that your endocrine system is, it's kind of like the master of your hormones. Um, your hormones are like chemical messengers that tell certain cells what to do. So when your hormones get unbalanced, your body's system starts to malfunction. And so the more you can keep your blood sugar in a healthy range, the more balanced your hormones will stay. So um, it's it's like if your blood sugar gets off, then your hormones get unbalanced, then you start having health issues, and a lot of our health issues are because our hormones are unbalanced. And a lot of times that's why we feel like crap. That's why we feel like we have no energy, like we're tired all the time, even though we didn't do much. This is why, because we have hormone imbalance. And so when we can start to balance our blood sugar, this balances our hormones at the same time. So, so the more you can keep your blood sugar in a healthy range, the more balanced your hormones will stay. And this will help you prevent issues like weight gain, some cancers like breast cancer and ovarian cancer, and autoimmune diseases. That's a big one, like Hashimoto's and things like that. There's a lot of autoimmune diseases that are caused from unbalanced hormones. So if you can balance your hormones, then you can prevent and reverse these autoimmune issues. And this is something that is not talked about a lot of times in our healthcare system because, um, because, like doctors and providers don't understand or just don't have the time to explain this to you. And that's where someone like me comes in, who, I've gone through all the like holistic training and things, and I understand this, and I can take my time with you and help you understand this so you know what to do. But doctors, and I don't fault doctors at all. They're just doing their job. They're doing what the healthcare system wants them to do. Um, and they don't have time to explain this stuff to you. Even if they understand it, a lot of times they just don't have time. Um, And it's unfortunate. It really is, but I'm not faulting them at all. You know, they just don't have time. And that's why a lot of times, um, they'll tell you to go see a dietitian or a nutritionist, or get some help with that, because they don't have time um, to help you with this. So um, that is the second reason. The second benefit of balancing your blood sugar is to balance your hormones, and then you can prevent a lot of health issues by balancing your hormones. Okay, number three, is keeping your blood sugar stable also helps with weight management. So blood sugar is one of the biggest reasons we have trouble losing weight and we gain weight. So I don't know if let me know if you've ever heard that before. If you've heard that blood sugar is the reason we gain weight or can't lose it, we have trouble losing it. Um, if your blood sugar is consistently high, your body can't burn fat. It cannot burn fat, no matter how much you exercise, or how much, I know a lot of people take a lot of like supplements and health shakes, and they juice and all this stuff. And yes, that's great. You're getting some great nutrients and vitamins and minerals and things like that when you do that. But if you aren't, if you are still eating, a high carb diet and a lot of junk food, or eating things that like I was doing. I was eating oatmeal and blueberries every morning for breakfast, and I didn't realize my blood sugar was getting to 180 when I did that. And it was keeping my blood sugar on a roller coaster all day. And that was keeping me with high blood sugar, you know? And so, even though we think we're eating healthy, a lot of times, yes, oatmeal is great. It's a great healthy food, but not for everyone. Because if you are struggling to lose weight or you have blood sugar issues, it may not be a good food for you. It's not good for everyone, right? Um, so you you want to keep your blood sugar stable to have good weight management, or to be able to lose weight. So let's talk about this a little more. Having a high glucose variability, which means high glucose variability means frequent peaks and valleys. So I keep doing this. That's what that means. You're having ups and downs all day long. And so if you have a high glucose variability and an elevated fasting glucose, that's associated with insulin resistance. So if you're spiking your blood sugar all day long, and you have a fasting high blood sugar, like if you wake up in the morning and before you eat, you take your blood sugar and it's 100 and something, you most likely have insulin resistance or prediabetes or diabetes. So that is a sign that you have high blood sugar and insulin resistance. So if your blood sugar's out of whack, um, so if it's up and down all day, then this can lead to unwanted weight gain, right? This can cause you to gain weight in the first place, but it can also keep you from losing weight. So, um, so if you're wanting to lose weight, focus on getting your fasting blood sugar under 100 milligrams per deciliter. So when you take your blood sugar, when you do that finger prick, you want your fasting blood sugar to be under 100, and that is a good range. You know, that's telling you you're not diabetic, you're not pre-diabetic. And and you want it to be that consistently. So if yours is consistently 100 or more when you first wake up in the morning, that means you need to work on getting it down. Okay. You want it under 100 consistently, and that's going to help you lose weight. When you can get your blood sugar under 100, like a fasting blood sugar under 100. And then when you eat, you want to work on it not spiking more than 30 points after meals. So if your blood sugar is 100 before your meal, you take it before your meal, it's 100. You don't want it to go over 130 after your meal, like 30 minutes after, an hour after. You don't want it to go over 130, or that means you're spiking it too high, and you need to look at what you're eating. So you can do this. You can do this by following my first tip, the first tip that we talked about, how to prevent insulin resistance prediabetes, with the 80/20, with the whole foods and things like that. That's how you can start changing the way you eat if you are spiking it more than 30 points at a meal. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know if it does, or if I need to go over, explain it a little more. And then the last benefit we're going to talk about today is you will have less cravings when you balance your blood sugar. And this is a big one, you guys. The longer I work in this field and work with people, cravings are one of the things that really, really get in the way of people doing what they need to do. Like they have every intention of eating healthy. They have every intention of working out. They have every intention of lowering their stress and all that. But when you're stressed, a lot of us deal with our stress by like emotionally eating. And then when you emotionally eat for years and years and years, you create a habit and your body starts craving those foods. And that's what happened to me. Like, I'm no different. I had to learn that. I had to understand all this stuff. And that's how I changed the way I was, doing everything. That's how I reversed my diabetes. I had to learn all this stuff. And I had mentors, you guys. I've hired mentors, hired health coaches, I've read tons of books. I've done all this stuff, and I've just learned this stuff and gotten the knowledge and applied it. And that's how I reversed my diabetes. That's how I lost all my weight. That's how I got over my cravings and stopped all these habits that were not serving me anymore. That's how I did it. So cravings, if you can start eating this 80/20, if you can start eating more whole foods and start managing your stress in a different way, rather than emotionally eating, like when you're stressed out and you go eat some ice cream or some cookies, or a bag of chips. If you can create new healthier habits and get rid of those habits, you're going to have less cravings. You're going to lose the weight. You're going to balance your blood sugar. You're going to balance your hormones. And you're not, you're just not going to have all these health issues. So, so we need to, when we balance our blood sugar, so the first 3 tips I gave you are going to help you balance your blood sugar, and that is going to help you have less cravings. So when you eat processed food, processed carbohydrates, your blood sugar spikes, right? Which leads to the overproduction of insulin to keep up with the spike. And once the insulin overproduction catches up, your glucose crashes, and this leads to cravings. So when you're causing these big ups and downs in your blood sugar, this is what's causing your cravings, right? So your body craves carbs and sugar because it wants to bring your blood sugar back up to normal, or what it thinks is normal, right? So if you're used to having your blood sugar at 100 to 200 and it goes below 100, your body's going to crave carbs to get it back up to this range, right? So that's what cravings are. That's why your body is craving these things. Um, your body craves carbs and sugar because it wants to bring your blood sugar back up to normal. And this cycle can continue all day. It continues all day, especially when you start out eating a high carb meal like oatmeal or a banana or smoothie, and you start out eating a high carb meal. Your body's going to go through this roller coaster blood sugar all day long, and you're going to have cravings, and you're going to get crashes, and you're going to feel tired, and then you're going to crave more sugar and more carbs. I hope this is making sense. You guys, let me know. So in order to stop the cycle from happening, you have to stop eating the high carb foods, right? And I know that's so hard to do. I know it is, especially when you're so used to it and you've been doing it for years and years. But this is really what's going to stop all this stuff, all this cycle, and it's going to help all your issues. So, in order to stop the cycle from happening, you have to stop eating the high carb foods, especially the high carb processed foods like chips, cookies, ice cream, all this processed stuff. I'm not saying that you can't have like potatoes and sweet potatoes and beans and all these whole foods. Those things are fine. They're, you just have to watch your servings with that. But those whole food carbs are gonna they're gonna be a lot. They're not gonna spike your blood sugar as much because they have nutrients in them. They have good things in them, and you just have to know what your serving size is, right? Based on your blood sugar, you're gonna have to test it and see what you do well with. Do you do well with a whole potato, a whole sweet potato, or a half of one, or a fourth of one? What do you do well with? You know, do you do well with a half a cup of beans, a fourth a cup of beans? What does your blood sugar do well with? That's what you have to, test and know, then you'll know what it is, and you won't have to do it forever. You won't have to test your blood sugar forever, because you'll know when you eat these foods, how your blood sugar reacts. You just have to do it for a certain amount of time. And then I do it whenever I eat something new, like if there's something I haven't done for a while and I don't know how my blood sugar reacts, then I'll test it so I can know. Um, and So instead of eating a lot of these high carb, highly processed carbs and things, you want to focus on protein. Okay. You want to focus on protein, healthy fats, and fiber. Those are the three essential nutrients that you really need to make sure you're getting those things in first, before you're eating the high carb food. So a lot of times if I say I do um, like some chicken thighs and some broccoli and a sweet potato, I'll eat my chicken first, my protein. I'll make sure I get full on my protein, and I'll eat my broccoli. And then I'll eat the sweet potato, if I have room, or I'll just, a lot of times you don't want to fill up on the sweet potato first and then not have room to eat your chicken and broccoli or whatever. So prioritize getting your protein, your healthy fats, and your fiber. Hopefully that makes sense. And you can you don't always have to like cook a big meal if you don't have time to cook. If you're not a big, um, cook, like you don't cook a lot, you can do things like nuts, string cheese, berries, carrots, broccoli with hummus, anything like that. And that's going to be whole foods. That's going to be better than you eating a bunch of like chips and cookies and, like snacky kind of stuff. So you can even do like canned tuna, canned chicken. That's going to be just fine. Like anything quick is fine if you don't have time to cook. Just focus on getting more protein, healthy fats, and fiber. Um, yeah, just reading my notes. So yeah, you can like if you're not a big meal person, you can eat those like snacky things, but for me, I like eating big meals. So I don't snack a lot, but it depends on you and how you feel your best. I know people that like to snack all day. And if you're going to do that, just choose healthy snacks. But me, I like eating 2 or 3 big meals a day. So my meals are big, but I don't snack. So, but you don't want to like have 2 or 3 big meals and snack, you know? And when you do have your meals, you want most of them to be whole foods and healthy foods. And that's really going to help with your cravings, help you balance your blood sugar, and help you lose weight. So that is my last tip. And you guys, if you I hope you understand. I hope all this made sense and that you understand why it's so important. Even if you're not diabetic, it's so important to balance your blood sugar. Um, so let me know in the comments what tip surprised you the most that I went over. And if you're having blood sugar issues or you do want to prevent these issues if you're not diabetic, and you need more guidance on what to do, I would love to help you. That's what I help people with. I help you with blood sugar. I help you if you're wanting to lose weight. I I've helped hundreds of people with this stuff. Reverse diabetes, prevent diabetes, lose weight, all these things. Because I've been there myself and I know what it takes and I know how to help you. And we're not all one size fits all. So that's why if you've tried all these diets and things before and they didn't work, that's because it didn't, it's everybody cannot be successful at the same plan. It takes personalization because we're all unique. We all have different requirements. And if you've tried all these things and you don't know what else to do and you feel like nothing has worked for you, that's where I can come in and help you get clear on, okay, you've done this, you've done that, it hasn't worked, this has worked, this hasn't worked, this is your blood sugar, this is, you've gained weight or you want to lose weight or whatever it is. And we can look at your lifestyle and all these things and I can help you pinpoint what you need to focus on and what is going on that you need to do to get to the goals you want, right? To reach the goals you want. That's what I help people do. So if you are interested and you want to have a conversation about that, if you want more guidance about that, um, we can have a conversation either in the DMs. We can set up a phone conversation and we can talk about that. If you are interested in that, just put the word balance in the comments and I'll reach out to you. If you want a phone call, you can let me know that. Or if you want to have a DM conversation, we can do that too. And we can get clear on what you need and where you need to go to hit your goals. All right, guys. I hope you have a great week and I hope this was helpful. And any further questions you have, just let me know. Leave them in the comments and I will answer them. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.